how to properly test Facebook ad campaigns, then in this three-step framework, I'm going to teach you how to do it. Before getting started, make sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the icon to receive a notification every time I release a new video. Okay, here we are. So the first step, before even mentioning the first step actually, I wanted to give you this visual slide. Before you even get started testing, you know that depending on the decisions you make and how you plan the test, you can either make your life easy or hard, right? So that's why it's important that you follow these three steps. So the first one is defining your goals for the test. So it might sound straightforward, but what do you want to test? Because it's fancy to say, oh yeah, I do A/B tests all the time. Yeah, but why do you test? What do you want to test exactly? Is it creatives? Is it the copy? Is it the audiences? Is it like a funnel? You can test many things. So what do you want to test? And I'm going to address that in a minute more in depth. But for now, let's keep that in mind. So the second thing that you need to define is how could you know if the test is successful? And this is an important question. How could you know if the test is successful? And it's really important because you need to define how you're going to identify a winner, right? And how you're going to identify some losers as well, right? So you need to say, hey, I'm going to establish these parameters of success. For instance, is it going to be conversions? Is it going to be a lead? Is it going to be a purchase? Or probably is it going to be based on CTR? Is it going to be based on CPM? Is it going to be based on add to cards? So it depends exactly, or probably could be media views. It could be whatever, right? Depending on what you want to test, you need to define. I've tested all of them, all of the ones I mentioned. I've tested them all throughout my career. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. So you can test whatever you want, but you need to define these two things first. And then as a second step, you need to define the scope of the test. How long will it run? Right? It cannot run forever, or it cannot be undefined, right? I mean, you should say, oh, we are going to run this for a week. We are going to run this for a month, but you need to have a scope, right? So the second question is super related to the first one, which is the budget enough to get results? So in the previous step, I said, hey, what do you want to test? So you want to test based on conversions, right? Well, that will require probably a different budget than if you wanted to only test based on CTR, right? Or clicks or anything else or leads. So if the average CPA, the cost per conversion or per acquisition is $50, and you're going to run the test for a week with only $10 a day, then probably you couldn't be getting any purchase in the entire week. So this might sound, again, straightforward, but you cannot imagine how many times I've seen that happen. So you need to plan ahead and say, okay, so we want X amount of purchases, let's say 5, to call a winner, right? So if you're going to run it again with $10 a day for 5 days, then at most you will find one purchase, right? So probably it's not going to pay off. So you need to define that ahead. So the step number 3, structure the ad campaign for success. The rule of thumb is, and this is really important, one variable at a time to test. So if you say, oh, I want to test an ad, yeah, that's great, but an ad has many components. It has the copy, headline, the creative, many things, right? So what do you want to test? And that doesn't count as one. You can have the same copy with different creatives and it can perform differently, right? So you need to choose. What do you want to test? Choose one. In this case, let's say it's the copy, right? So in the first step, what we said is what do you want to test, right? What the test is about. So you may say, oh, I want to test the ads. And in this case, you choose a variable. So you say, like, I want to test the ad copy. I want to test the ad creative. I want to test the headline. I want to test destination URL or the landing page, right? So you need to define that. And then you need to choose wisely the ad campaign type, depending on what you want to test. It will depend the campaign type that you will need. So in case you don't know, Facebook ad campaigns types are there for a reason. So Facebook will give you, in a nutshell, Facebook will give you the audience that is most likely to perform that goal or that campaign type. So, for example, if you choose a traffic campaign, Facebook will give you people who are likely to click on ads. If you select video views, people will give you people who are likely to watch videos. Conversions, people who are likely to buy, and many, many more, right? So if you want conversions, then you choose conversions. If you want to assess the traffic or whatever, then you choose traffic. Then if you want to, I don't know, assess what video will perform the best or it's most appealing to the audience, then you choose video views. So it will depend, but you need to choose wisely. Otherwise, you will be testing, I don't know, a conversions campaign actually, but you choose instead a traffic campaign and you don't get any conversions. That's one. You will be getting very high CTRs because people that are being that Facebook is showing the ads to are used to clicking on ads, so the CTR is going to be higher. The click is going to be cheaper, so you're not going to have a realistic expectation for when you choose to run that campaign for real, right? So the optimization type, it's another thing, right? So sorry, in this case, it's not the optimization type. It's the whether it's CBO or ABO. That's what I wanted to say, not the optimization type. The it's CBO or ABO. So I recommend ABO to give the same chance for each contestant to actually succeed. Because if you choose CBO, yeah, you might identify whatever ad set Facebook favors and gives more budget to run, and you will identify a winner, but the other ones might not spend anything, right? So you want to give them a fair chance to prove themselves. And then the indicators to watch. Again, I said it's not only the end indicator like a purchase or lead. You need to watch the partial indicators as well because you might not have received a lot of purchases, but then you have a lot of indications that people will love that because you get a lot of initiated checkouts or add to carts or whatever. So you need to define well the indicators that you will watch uh, to actually optimize these campaign and measure results. So this is an example for an ad copy test. An ABO campaign, it's a conversions campaign, and they have three ad sets. Because in my example, I wanted to test three ad copy. As you will see here, everything remains the same, but the copy. So I have three ad sets, one for each ad copy. If I wanted to test five ad copy, I will have five ad sets. The ad sets are identical. They have the same audience. It's a copy paste. They have the same thing. And I have one ad per ad set. And the only thing that changes across ad sets is the copy. The creative and headline remains the same. That way, you'll be sure and certain that the winner is actually because of the copy and not because of many other variables. Okay, so I hope this was useful, and if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.